Let's see. It says I am live. Let's see if my iPad works today, and I actually can tell if I go live. Yesterday I had some chat issues. Perry is lurking. I see the boy who had 7 was here. He was first. Thanks for joining me, Matt. And Perry is always watching. How many YouTube channels are you on now, Perry? Like 10? Oh, and there's no mute. Forgot to mute the iPad, but it did come up. Only about 30 seconds of lag, so that's not too bad. So today, continuing with my run through my collection, I want to thank Matt and Perry for joining me. Everybody that's watching these, I don't know how entertaining they actually are. I mean, I watch people who go through do their collection videos, so I guess I shouldn't be surprised if people watch mine, but I'm still sort of surprised. So, we have done, I rolled the wrong way, but we have done the Detective Comics box, the Batman box, and the miscellaneous Batman box. We've now moved over a column and are going to be doing today the Nightwing box. Yes, he's in a Harley box, but but we're going to be doing Nightwing, and we're just going to start. Let me change my view. And we're starting with this book, Nightwing #1. And if you guys follow me on Instagram, do you know I just posted this book to a fun hashtag that the boy who had 7 started today that I had never seen before, the books of my youth. And this is the book, and this storyline I'm about to share is what got me into collecting. It's what got me started. I had read comics before, for years, really, but I had never bought or collected comics prior to this. So, yeah, this was the run that got me started, and so with that, this is still my original copy. I have stuff laying in the way here. Hang on. Sorry, I did not get organized before I started this. That was poor choice on my part. So I could set these down below and pull them up. I don't remember what I was getting ready to say, but yeah, this is the book that made me a comic book collector. I had been a reader before that, but this is the book that made me want to purchase and read and everything else. Like the Harley. Thank you, sir, Mr. Bill. What's going on? Yeah, this is my original copy. It is probably the next time I do a CGC or CBCS order, it's probably going out. I probably won't get a 9.8. It does need a press. It has a little bit of a dent in it. It's been read multiple times, but I think it has a good shot at a 9.6. It has one little spine tick on the front that I think will keep it from being a 9.8. But all in all, for as many times as I've actually read this story, this book is in fantastic shape. So I'm going to set this down, and then we'll start with the rest of the run. It actually starts with Secret Files and Origins that came out with this as part of this run. I have 3 now. They banned my other one last night. Yeah, Perry, you're getting banned for lurking, I tell ya. Nightwing the Wizard 1/2. And then obviously I had #1, and then we'll get into the run proper. #2. This is maybe my favorite cover in the run. I'm tempted to get this one slabbed as well, just because I love this cover. I just think that's a spectacular cover. But that is me. That is probably my favorite cover in the run. #3. You guys will see I have a pretty extensive run of Nightwing, particularly this first run. It was #4. It was the run I had the most books of prior to getting back into collecting. #5. It has now been bumped down to Nightwing as a title has been bumped down to #2 behind Batman, although I think I still have more of this original Nightwing run than any specific run. It's over the 3 Batman runs or whatever. #6, a fun Nightwing and Robin cover. Uh, Number 7. This is probably close. I really enjoy this cover too. Not as good as number 2, but really close. And number 8. Put these guys down. I forgot to put a backing board. That's okay. All right. Grab the next stack. Oh, I was like, where did number 9 go? It's right here. Number 9. And I don't know, like, Scott McDaniel did the art on these back in the day. And I remember at the time, like, at first not being a big fan, but this whole run, his art really grew on me. I really loved it toward the end. Number 10. Number 11. Scarecrow making a cool appearance. That's kind of a fun Scarecrow cover. Number 12. See what's going on in the chat. You know, I've always, like, taken a lot of care of my books. Even when I didn't really think about them in terms of value. Like, I've always been a little anal that way. So all of these books, despite the fact that I've read this run, gosh, probably all the way through 3 or 4 times at least. And all of these books are near mint. I won't say they're all like 9/8, but they're all near mint. Number 13. And then another one of my favorite covers in this run, number 14. A little bit of glare on that one, but just him and Batman on the gargoyle. I really love that cover. Cool close-up shot, 15. Right, we're on 15, I believe, yes. And then another fun one, him in his own, at the time, non-Batmobile, but his own little car that he was building during the storyline, his own version of the Batmobile, number 16. And then awesome Man-Bat cover, number 17. Barry used to treat his books like a blender. No, I was never that way. I don't know why, but I was never that way. 18. I think this is actually Deadshot, and not. But I don't remember that for sure. I'm not sure who that guy is for sure. It doesn't really look like Deadshot's costume, but I'm not sure who that is. So that gets us through what 18. 19 was the start of Cataclysm. Which led obviously to the No Man's Land. And if you guys saw, I have like the complete No Man's Land. I would love to get every title in the Cataclysm run, like on across all the titles, but I've not done that yet. 20. I thought I had more of them than I do, which is I was a little surprised that I had as few of those as I did. I thought I had more, but I keep leaving the last one for some reason. 21. The fake Nightwing. 22. This was a short-lived character. 23. Those fun crossovers that have no tie to anything else. 24. So, where would you start? I would start at the beginning. It really picks up the very beginning, the first storyline, basically through, what issue is that? 14, I think? The one where Bruce is on the cover is, yeah, where it's him and Batman on the cover through 14. It's kind of the first full storyline, and it's basically him. Let's get back in here. Getting back in position. Him showing up in Bloodhaven on his own. Like, there's a mini-series that comes before that's why he goes to Bloodhaven. But the first book starts with him establishing himself in Bloodhaven on his own. And it's dealing with Blockbuster, who at the time had been reinvented and made much more of a threat because of Zero Hour, I think it happened. I think that's what it was, where he got more powers from Nero in the DC universe. So that first 2 arcs, basically, is him and his first showdown with Blockbuster and all the setup to that and figuring out who the real bad guy in Bloodhaven is through the battle where Bruce comes to town and basically they go after Blockbuster, only Batman takes out all the hired help and he lets Dick go after Blockbuster on his own. That to me, those first 14 issues is what is probably the best of this run, in my opinion. Um, Probably not worse than Rick Grayson. No, this is not much better than Rick Grayson. So we're on 24, 25. Another really cool cover. I really liked Scott McDaniel's work on this. He has a very unique kind of style, but I really enjoy it. And this is obviously them going back. This is part of during the Cataclysm, Aftershock, them going back to Gotham to help. And then there's a fun storyline that actually set up a miniseries later that starts here at 26 with him and the Huntress. And that runs through 27. A little bondage on the Huntress there on 27. And number 28. Put these guys up. And I think there's actually one more issue on this Huntress run storyline, which is also kind of a fun storyline. She comes to town. She's still looking for acceptance, sort of, amongst the Bat family. And he tries to help her, but at the time she wasn't not really ready for help, I guess, in some ways. I think this it wraps up on 29. So that's a cool 4-issue story as well. But yeah, the best part of this run is definitely the beginning. 30, which is a fun Nightwing Superman cover. Be nice to have a friend like that. You just show up if you need him. So, 31. 32. 33. There's a bunch of villains that are introduced in this run that never really showed up again. That like Torque and these Double Dare, and there's a lady. Gosh dang, she was on one of the earlier covers. I already got past her. Lady Vic or something. I can't remember now what her name is. There were fun villains for him, but they never really just took off and got used really anymore. 34. Then he jumps into, after a while, back into No Man's Land toward the wrap up. 35 and 36. So I'll leave those up for just a second. So yeah, that Superman is definitely there's a bunch of cool covers in here. Like I said, I really enjoy Scott McDaniel's work on this. Chuck Dixon, who's shown himself in later years to be a bit of a troll, but his writing on this was great. I love this story still. And 37, kind of the end of this Blackgate. Basically, Bruce sent him to Blackgate to get in No Man's Land, where all the prisoners were kind of left and to their own devices and then taking control of the prison, and basically says, go get me Blackgate. And that's what that 3 storyline is. 38, still on No Man's Land. This is a fun story with him and Babs when she was Oracle. And they were very much off again, on again during this whole period, doing the moonlighting thing. 39. Then 40. And basically, the art changes here at 41. And I would say at this point is when this whole... Dixon's still writing it at this point, but this is when Nightwing really started to fall off, I think. I don't think it was ever as good after this point. This is Greg Land, which I don't think I actually realized. This must be early Greg Land. 42... 43, 44. So So yeah, we're only about 20 more to go before I actually start missing any issues. 45. Hunt for Oracle 3. So this was a crossover with Birds of Prey and something else. On number 46. 47, art changes again. Still Chuck Dixon. I think that was just a one-off, though, because, yes, it goes back to Land in 48. 49, this was another one of these villains. There was a bunch of them in this run that, like, showed up here, and I don't think they've ever been seen again. They set him up for Nightwing and Bloodhaven, and then they never, once Chuck Dixon went off the book, nobody ever came back to him. And some of them were fun. At least that's my opinion. Hey, Unruly, what's going on, man? Didn't see you slip in here. So I'm just going through my Nightwing run. I basically have the whole run from 1 through, well, I'm still going, 60-something, I think, before I miss any issues. 50, 51. Actually, Dixon went a little longer on this than I thought. Here is a fun Catwoman cover. This is a fun story. So, like, this whole thing, like, they end up teaming up to, like, take these bad guys down, and she's, like, flirting with him and stuff, and he basically starts laughing at her because he realizes that she's doing it because she's hoping he'll tell Bruce and it'll make Batman jealous. And so he basically makes fun of her, and she, like, kicks him off someplace high, and he almost bites it because he was making fun of her. So, oh goodness gracious, you've been on the road, Unruly. Well, I appreciate you waking up to join me, but go back and take a nap. This will be here. But it is fun, and a sweet Greg Land Catwoman on the cover that is very attractive. So that's 52, 53, 54. Still Chuck Dixon. Chuck Dixon wrote this whole run, I think almost through like 70 maybe? 55. We'll find out here in a second. 56. 57. Set these down again. 58. This Shriek, I think is this guy's name. It was another fun kind of villain that shows up repeatedly in here. 59. I think he actually shows up in. Am I still going? Okay, I was getting like there for a second, like that my screen was gonna mess up. 60, and we go from Land to McCarthy for the art. And that, I think, stays for quite... No, I think it starts mixing up a little more commonly on artists. Because 61 is still McCarthy, and then it goes to somebody else. But this is a Joker's Last Laugh tie-in. 62... Yeah, because then it's back to McCarthy for a while. 63... 64... 65. I'm not sure who did the cover for this one. That might be a Ramos cover. Because I don't think that's McCarthy, actually. It's very different from the rest of his style, I will say that, if it is. 66. So yeah, I'm still going. And that is the end. That is the end of my Unbroken Nightwing run. So I have 1 through 66. And then I have some scattered issues for a while. This is about the time I went... Well, I'd been at grad school for a while when this happened, but this was during grad school that I started getting some broken. 71 is the next one I get. 72. That's okay, Unruly. He was just a character that I latched onto when I first got into comic books, and he's always kind of been my favorite. He really doesn't have that many iconic storylines outside of Teen Titans as Nightwing. Um, and so it's not unusual that people don't necessarily have a lot. I think one of his more iconic things is this whole Grayson thing they did a little recently toward the end of the New 52, and I haven't read any of that. So, but yeah, so not unusual. I would highly recommend the beginning of this. Like the I Told Boy had said a while ago, the first 14 issues are really, really good. After that, it's a little more inconsistent, but there's some good story arcs in there. Hey Matt, welcome back. You just missed. I got through 66 is the end of my continuous run, and then I missed a few issues, and then I jump into the 70s at 71. So I missed 67, 68, 69, 70. So it's got a 4-issue gap there before I started again. And then I think I had, not too long, I have another gap here. 74. This is that lady Vic? I think that's her name. I can't remember now. It's something like that. Who's kind of a low rent Lady Shiva, only she's English, that he fights quite a couple different times. In here, so at 70, so 66 was still Chuck Dixon. Somewhere between there and 71, Devin Grayson took over as the author. And some of these are good, but she is not, her run is not nearly as good as Chuck Dixon's was. So then I jumped from 74 to 77. 78, kind of a, if you guys remember that, and I'll get to it here later, there was a hot cover last year with him, partially skeletalized face or whatever, that everybody really loved. Kind of a homage to this, I believe. 79, we'll see it in a minute. I'll get there when I get to the new run. 80, finally bring in, the one thing that Devin Grayson did do was she finally brought Slade to the party, and he really had not, being his iconic. Hey J Hood, what's going on, man? Thank you for listening at your desk. I'm down with Teen Titans are in most of the press run. Yeah, the Teen Titans is much more iconic. Are you looking for the issues you're missing? Yes, I am looking for the issues I'm missing. I'm not really, like, my comic shop, because they're relatively new, doesn't have a lot of back stuff, even from the 90s. So I have not, but if I stumble across them in, like, dollar bins and stuff, I'm definitely going to try to fill out at least through 100 and maybe further of this first run. But first, I'd like to get through 100, and then we'll see. But she did bring Deathstroke into play, as I was saying. 82. So I think I'm missing, like, I forget. I have a list I can read off here in a second of what I'm actually missing there. 83. So, but I would love to finish this at least through 100. 84. 85. And I'm almost to the end. These are the last 3 of my original Nightwing run. I jump ahead again to 91. And this is a cool cover. I love this cover. I think that is an awesome... The guy, he's getting ready to fight, reflection and the blade. I believe that's actually Blockbuster, which why he has a blade, I don't know. But, or maybe it's like he's got a hired hand. Yeah, anyway, he's just looming over it. But love that cover. 92. I am missing the infamous, I think it's 93 or 94. It's one of those two. I do not have the infamous rape issue where he gets raped by this chick. Don't have that one. I have read it. I've read it digitally, but I don't have that infamous issue. And then 96 is the end of my original Nightwing run. So I have 1 through 66 and then most of everything else. What am I missing to get to 100? I forget. Let's just pull it up real quick because I have it written down on my notes that I take to store. So I'm missing 67, 68, 69, 70, 75, 76, 81, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 93, 94, 97, 98, 99, and 100. So I'm missing 18 issues of that first 100. So I would love to get those checked off, but I figure I can probably find those in dollar bins or back issue bins for cheap. I just haven't made the effort yet. Needs to happen, just haven't. So I have none of the new 52 Nightwing run or the Grayson run in hard copy. I have quite a few of them in digitally. Before the app came around where you can read most of that stuff anyway. Just that was during the big gap, obviously. I have the trade for the beginning of the Rebirth Nightwing run. I wasn't super, happy with this one. So I didn't immediately jump back into Nightwing when I got back into collecting. Let's see if we can get these to stand up here for... Nah, it's going to be a pain. So I didn't really start. I started much later than I did on Batman or whatever. I do have the annual #1. And then I have basically this cover is what me got started buying the Rebirth run. Before this cover, I really didn't buy any. And then, after this one, I started buying them because I saw that cover and I was like, okay, I got to get that. So that is 44. And that is the B cover by JR, which is, not always the best, but I do love that cover. 45. This is that one I was talking about being a little bit maybe of a homage to. 46. Maybe not as much as I thought, but... 7 boxes and 3 mailers. 3 weeks out is rough. I've been spoiled the last 2 years getting home every weekend. I have all the issues of Rebirth Nightwing up to the current issue. There was a lot of good arcs in there. There is a lot of stuff in the middle that I need to... I just need to go back and start trying to grab some of them. 47. I was just slow to the party. The current arc is garbage. But hey, we'll see what happens. I do trust... I think Dan Jurgens is starting to bring it around a little bit, but until they make him Dick Grayson again, I'm going to be pissed. So 48. 49, a cover that I enjoy. Anytime the two of them team up, I'm happy. Let's be real. Put these in here. Okay. Oh, I have a couple books here. I should have just left 49 up there. 50. Boo Hiss. Actually, that's not the Boo Hiss. It's Batman 55 is the Boo Hiss. But, yeah. 51, the nice shiny foil. I had to get the foil. Throwback to the 90s, which is a fun cover. 52. 53, and I go back and forth a little bit depending on which cover I liked, whether or not I have the A or the B. Yeah, that's my hope, is Jurgens fixes it. Hopefully he will. 54, which is a gorgeous Yasmin Putri cover. That thing is just sick, in my opinion. I'm a big Yasmin Putri fan. 55 is a pretty sweet Tyler Kirkham. I just wish the badge was a little bigger in that because she looks pretty good, even real small. So, 56. Let's leave that Tyler Kirkham up there for a second. 57. And basically I have through the end here. And then I have a few odds and ends that I'll show after this. 58. 59, another Yasmin Putri cover that I love. She is definitely becoming one of my favorites. A run of 1 through 76 of the original Nightwing run. Then I have a few random issues after that. So you actually have more than I do, J Hood. That's impressive, because I had 1 through 66, and then I had kind of scattering after that to 100. 60, Walter Low, I don't remember how you pronounce his name, but he's been doing the B covers here lately. 61, not sure I like them that much, but yeah, they're not bad. And then a sweet Capullo cover for the most recent issue of Talon, with Talon, who's jumped into the storyline, so I'm hoping with Jurgens and Talon that this can start heading in the right direction. But I do like that Capullo Talon cover. It is pretty sweet. So those are main title Nightwings. So most of a short box of Nightwing stories, and then I have a few scattering Nightwing trades and a miniseries. The miniseries that I am missing an issue from that I need to get. Oh, I actually have. Okay, so I thought I was missing 3. I'm missing 2, apparently. This Nightwing Hunters miniseries, which was fun. I have number 1, number 3. If you didn't know, yeah, they get it on during this. And number 4, not that that's unusual for Mr. Grayson. He's been with lots of the ladies. I'm missing number 2 on that one for some reason. Not sure how or when that didn't get into my collection, but it did not. And then a few trades. Knight of Bloodhaven, I believe. Let me check. This is the first trade, and the boy who had 7. I think this is the one that you won. I think this is the first trade. I think this collects issues 1 through 6. Let me look here. Doesn't say on the back. Knight of Blood in Bloodhaven. Child of Justice, which I believe is that number 1 issue. Here, it's got covers. Yes, 1, 2. So it collects 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So it collects the first 6 issues. So that would be your start. I think that's right. Is that 1 through 6? Were those the covers to 1 through 6? I feel like they're. I mean, maybe I missed a page. That might actually be 4, 5, 6. Actually, through 8. It looks like maybe. And might be a couple of those that are tie-ins to something else that aren't in there, but that's the first storyline. And then Hard Target, which that one is later. That actually I think is a standalone. I don't think that's a collection. Let's see. No, this Hard Target is a standalone. Okay, that is not a collection. And then Ties That Bind is actually the trade of the miniseries. Like if you see, there's like a 1 through 4 Nightwing miniseries that it came out before this run. That is this. And so there's not. That's not the. That's that miniseries before I think that's the miniseries before this one, where this starts, I believe. Um, so that is my Nightwing run. Thank everybody for joining me. J Hood, Unruly, Matt, the boy who had 7. I appreciate it. Matt, thanks for the tag today. Looks like you had to run. I actually need to hit you up with about something. I had a thought today. I will talk to you later about. So with that, I want to thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys are enjoying these collection videos. It's kind of fun for me to go back through and remember everything I actually have and look at them again. And we will talk to you later. That's my mouse.